Social here with.
Mike Fox from Simp. Chief.
Thanks for meeting with me, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. Pleasure.
Yeah, if we could just start off talking a little bit about your project, if you can describe it to me in a few sentences.
Yeah, sure. So what we basically do is we help businesses and venues collect first-party GDPR-compliant data automatically and at scale. And since GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, was implemented by the EU in May of 2018, the product has really become need to have as opposed to a nice to have. Because we're living in an increasingly digital society. People are on their mobile devices more than ever, and they're demanding more personalized experiences. And the only way you can provide those experiences is by collecting genuine first-party data. But as I mentioned, GDPR has made it much more difficult to collect, use, and store these data. So you really need to have a product like this. And the trend in data regulation really isn't abating. It's getting even more pronounced and more widespread. Like for instance, California is implementing its Consumer Protection Act on January 1st, 2020, and we really expect to see additional data regulation put in place in the coming years. So by having a product like ours, we make it easy to navigate.
Great. And is that, I mean, you were saying that this is growing both within Europe for GDPR and outside. So where else has Simp expanded?
So we're currently in Norway, our home market. We're based in Bergen. We're in Sweden. We're also in Mexico and Croatia. There are franchises, but primarily it's Norway and Sweden for the moment. And just one other thing to add about GDPR is that it's an EU directive, but it applies to EU citizens globally. So it's not just limited to Europe in general. So the need is a global need.
Okay. So if you're an EU citizen, does that make you a Simp customer? Just
It should.
okay.
It should. Or if you're someone who's serving EU customers, you should be a Simp customer.
Fair. Okay. So what would you say that you're looking for, both at this event and at this stage that Simp's currently at?
I mean, as it stands right now, we're looking to raise some funds, about 25 million NOK, Norwegian kroner, at the moment, and we're looking for strategic partners who are willing to, work alongside us, help us navigate the system, help us to avoid common pitfalls associated with growth stage companies, and also by being part of this event, just looking to establish relationships with other entrepreneurs because they've been a great source of support and encouragement and ideas.
For connecting with those investors, do you feel like this is a good place to do that?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I think it really is awesome because I'm from the U.S. I'm from Manhattan originally. I have a background in investment banking and trading. So I'm used to being around a lot of these types, so to speak. I just haven't seen the prevalence or the concentration of investors in Norway that I obviously experienced in America, but they are here, and I think it's important for events like this to serve as kind of a magnet to attract them, because I've been blown away by the quality and the scale of the companies that I've been seeing today, and I think Norway will, just as it has in the past, continue to produce industry-changing, world-changing companies. But it's really important that they have the support and the capital that's required to do that.
Makes sense. So, and that's, would you say that this event is part of a larger trend in Norway towards pulling in more international capital?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were lucky enough to be a part of this program that's run by Innovation Norway called Entrepreneurial Marketing in New York. And its goal is to internationalize companies, to get them up to, essentially an international standard. By international meaning American. Prepare them for, venture capital meetings, investor meetings, so on and so forth, at a standard that American investors expect. So they essentially pull apart your business and then examine it with a number of different mentors in relevant areas so that you can essentially rebuild it as perfectly and as profitably as you can. But we're already reaping the benefits. We learned so much during the program, and as an American, it's actually strange to experience this level of support from the government. In America, it's very much every man for himself, winner takes all type environment. But in Norway, my company has received support that's so generous, it's almost hard to believe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because you guys are doing good work.
Yeah, but I think this is an ideal place to start a company, especially with the social supports that exist. Yeah, there's really no reason why people shouldn't be taking more shots.
Nice. Well,
More swings,
what's the next step, do you think, for Norway? Given so they got so much support for startups, but
I think it's only a matter of time until
okay.
foreign investors become aware of the potential that's lying dormant here. Yes, as they view it, but obviously we know better.
Yeah.
It's incredibly active, and there are a lot of great entrepreneurs, a lot of great founders, and I think it's just it's going to be a wealth of productivity and additional startups that scale at a massive level. But we just need that tailwind, just as the oil industry needed back in the early days.
And that's what I was going to say.
Once that expertise is injected into the system, I think that Norway and Norwegian investors will begin to take better notice.
And what do you think Norway's next oil will be?
I guess this might sound kind of cheesy, but it's people. They're going to diversify away from oil, and the ideas and the industry, so to speak, are going to rise out of the people. And so we're seeing here, this isn't an event that's geared to one specific industry. We have a bunch of people here focusing on a multitude of different products, a multitude of different services, and I think with the right backing and support, they're going to flourish.
That's great.
Norway isn't a one-trick pony. It's not a two-trick. It's not just oil and fish.
Yeah.
It's incredibly advanced, incredibly talented, incredibly hardworking people, and it's just a matter of time. And people will take notice, and events like these are certainly helpful in that regard.
That's great. Well, Mike, thank you so much for the time.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, really appreciate it, and best of luck with Simp.
Tusen takk.
Yeah.